Get into the tail end of our conversation this particular morning, looking at the direction of the nation on what has been happening in the country, from the political files all the way to the judiciary. And I want us, now that we looked at the Finance Act and the ruling by the Supreme Court, I want us to take a look at something else that is happening in the corridors of justice. This has to do with the impeachment of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. And of course, what we've been able to see in the past few days, what has been happening, of course, a spirited defense between the DP, and the team that is actually representing the Attorney General and the government in total. So, yes, sir, spirited defense there with the Gachagua wanting these stay orders, especially on the conservatory orders that were issued to prevent the swearing in of Deputy President-elect, that is Kithure Kindiki. Let me start with you, Frederick. Gachagua, looking at, once these orders to actually be stayed so that, Kindiki is not sworn in, but at the moment, I think the question that I'm going to ask, because there's a different, arguments when it comes to who is actually the Deputy President at the moment. People saying it's Gachagua actually stands impeached at the moment, and he left office the moment the Senate actually upheld his impeachment. So when you see this play in the corridors of justice, what do you read to that?
Okay, thank you so much. First, I want to say whatever is happening in the corridors of justice in matters Gachagua is a demonstration that our country has come of age. We are a country that is observing the rule of law in terms of giving justice to whoever feels that justice has been deprived upon him. But all said and done, our position as members of parliament, our position as even our counterparts in the Senate, Madam Gloria will confirm, is that Rigathi Gachagua stands impeached, and he vacated the seat of Deputy President the moment the Senate voted on the matter and upheld his impeachment. Okay. If I were him, I would be concentrating on other matters of national interest other than the circus that is going on in court. Okay. His case is like a case of a jilted lover who is forcing himself or herself to a spouse that has already washed his or her hands and confirmed that it is no longer tenable. It is irretrievably broken, it's not working, and therefore everybody should walk his path. Okay. Therefore, I think he is pitting himself against a majority of Kenyans, as demonstrated by, number one, the overwhelming response we got during public participation, and number two, by the number of legislators who upheld the charges that were leveled against him and found him guilty. Okay.
Overwhelming response we got during public participation, which said he should go or should stay?
Yeah, of course, I can speak on my behalf. The public participation that happened in my constituency, over 90% of the respondents affirmed that this guy was not right for the country, given the seat that he was holding at that time as the Deputy President. He had behaved in a manner that contravened the constitution and the expectations of many Kenyans, more so on the matters of national cohesion and integration. Okay,
and I think when Senator Gloria was giving arguing the case in the Senate, because I was watching that, a spirited argument there. One thing that you said did it for you for Gachagua was the issue to do, I believe, with the shareholding sentiments that he actually did, pronounce himself on. Because you're trying to look for yourself and your community in that shareholding, and you couldn't find it, and you wonder.
Find us,
yeah.
And for me, that was, we in the Senate, you don't vote once. You vote for each charge. So for the 11 charges, I think I voted for. 4 is what I voted to impeach. I remember, for me, based on the evidence and what was presented, all the others did not have any standing. Even the issue of Rigathi Gachagua having gotten all this wealth and whatever. There was no evidence of anything. Nothing tied him to any. In fact, for me, that was just a whole story. There was also no evidence on certain issues that they brought about. For instance, I can't remember literally all the charges, but I remember, for me, the evidence that was overwhelming was the shareholding one. And, you know, coming from where I come from, I felt, first, as a leader of that level, this is a person who's supposed to represent me and who's supposed to represent every Kenyan, regardless of where they come from. And they kept on calling and dividing Kenyans based on this whole shareholding and Murima narrative. So for me, that was for sure
did the defense
a guilty
given
one.
Not convince you in any way?
No, no. Because even when you start sharing pre-election agreements, in the pre-election agreements on party level, those were agreements on party level for positions. Never at any one point did it say, if there was a contract where he says he is signing to be the deputy president, and when he signs to be the deputy president, he will only represent Mount Kenya, then I could understand why he was doing what he was doing. But there was nowhere where it says, now that you are the deputy, you are going to represent a small region of Kenya. So for me, there were 4 issues that really stood out for me, and that was one of it. The issue of judiciary and intimidating the judges, for me also, I felt, you know, we hold, all of us Kenyans know, whatever happens, wherever it happens, our last resort, we will run to judiciary. So for me, it also felt the same people you are running to are the same people you are attacking, and are the same people you are trying to intimidate. Because there was the issue of the judge that, you know, felt he had this wrangled with. And, and for me, I felt that one you are very guilty. Because as you can see now, after we are done with him in the Senate, where did he go? To the judiciary. So there were things that were black and white, and there were things that were outright narratives and stories, and they should have never made it to the impeachment, I think. So what I can say is, first of all, I always, you know, when I listened to Gashagua's press conference right before he appeared in the National Assembly, do you remember that one? Yeah. He spoke very negatively about his boss, about the institution that he is supposed to represent, and about, technically, the executive at large, right? And after that, he actually went a step ahead to say that he had been threatened, that his life is in danger. Remember the press conference in Karen?
When he was leaving the hospital.
I mean, he even said to the president, don't kill me. When I listened to those utterances where he said they attempted to poison him, you know, and then I asked myself, so, me, if I'm Rigathi Gachagua, these people have attempted to kill me, they've been doing all these bad things to me, my life is in danger. Why do I want to go and work for these people? What am I in court for? Why am I in court fighting to go back to people who apparently wanted to kill you? And then, and in that spirit, if indeed the court actually looks at it and says, yes, let us allow for this man to go back to his boss, how does he envision a working relationship with a person, a boss, who he has outrightly in public gone to say, allegedly is a murderer, allegedly is all these things. How will that working relationship? You know, when you really think about it, is what is Gachagua fighting for? Because he's not fighting for that seat.
Okay, so
I mean, Brian, would you go back if I was attempting to kill you by poisoning you with this water? Will you be in court trying to say I must work with Gloria?
I think I'll save my life, but that's a conversation for a different day. Let me come to you, Honorable Basil. There's a spirited fight in the corridors of justice, and a lot of questions are being raised based on what we've been able to see that has come out. You know, we have a deputy president that says, by the way, my life is in danger. You know, the president, quote unquote, do not kill. If anything was to happen to me, the President Ruto should be held accountable. And yet, the spirited fight here is to try and still hold on to what is left in that particular office, preventing the swearing in of Kithure Kindiki. So, what would this look like? Is this utterances, some of them that we've been able to see, should they be taken into consideration when actually a ruling is being made? Or should we just look at the process that happened in the National Assembly and the Senate?
If I was Rigathi, and that's something I said here before, I would have resigned immediately. I got to what you call cordial relation with my boss. As Senator Glorious, she has clearly said that there is no way these two gentlemen can never work together. Their union or their marriage has reached what you call inseparable or irreconcilable differences, which you can't be able to reconcile or mitigate and reunite them again. So what we are seeing is just wastage of time.
And resources.
Regarding the moment they got to a loggerhead with the president and a motion was crafted to impeach him, he should have left the office quietly. And today will be busy championing maybe for his political space in 2027. Okay. But now what we are witnessing in courts is just wastage of time, is dramatic theatrics, which will never come to an end.
It is his right to
and
to
of course, but you see where we have reached. There is no, Kenyans want services. What matters to my people in the constituency? They want to see good roads. They want to have electricity connectivity. My people want water services. My people want working health services. Employment for the youth. These are supreme issues which should supersede another discussion. Okay. So wasting 2 weeks or 3 weeks of discussing matters which are not pertinent to Kenyans, I don't think is a good use of time.
That should tell you the kind of person Rigathi Gachagua is, because he knows very well he cannot go back to that position. He knows. But he would rather that Kenyans suffer. He would rather that he does all this dilly-dallying so that, like I hear people saying, kufa dereva na makanga. So that nobody gets into that, yani kama si yangu na wewe hautapata, without thinking, while you're doing all of these things, who is actually the bigger collateral damage? It is the Kenyans. It's Kenyans. So that should tell you, people should really look at how this man is handling himself, especially afterwards, because all that empathy you had when he did all those press conferences. Now look at this man who, you have been impeached. You are out. You have already said this guy is trying to kill you, he's trying to do all these things, blah, blah, blah. Why are you wasting Kenyans' time and resources by ensuring that no other person sits on that seat so that Kenyans don't get any services?
Just remind Rigathi Gachagua, the old adage that a drowning man clutches on a straw. What he's trying to do now is trying to clutch on a straw. It is not going to save him from drowning. He is already he has already drowned, and he should just move on. What a coincidence that on a bench of three, the three legislators seated here and on this table, we are on different parties. We are on different coalitions, like Basil and I on completely two different political sides. But we all voted for his impeachment. That should confirm to him the general mood of the country.
No, this one was not around. So,
but the silent ones, the silent ones are the ones who their vote is even stronger than those who have voted. Those ones who sit on the fence, those are the ones.
No, I did not. Let me clarify. To Senator Gloria, let me clarify. You know, as I said, this fight doesn't involve me. And that's why,
at what point does it get involved? This is a deputy president of a country that
in my constituency, there were mixed reactions. There are those who said, let's save Gachagua. There are those who said, let this Makanga be the first to go as we look for the driver. You know? And then as people's representative in such a case, all of these people belong to me. I'm the member of parliament. So when you have mixed reactions,
so you let other people
you become like pirate, where you say you have no issue with this man, and then you wash your hands and you tell them crucify him. So in this case, I say it is, if you look at the two scenarios, here there are people who want the guy go like yesterday.
Lakini,
There are those who want him
if
to
you
implement
continue
it.
sitting on the same,
And then-
But you know,
because saying-
Brian,
you will
And then
never,
I
you will
say
never
this.
get 100% support
Brian, listen,
in
yeah.
terms of
No, in the politics-
people agreeing on one
in the
thing.
politics-
So if you continue
No,
sitting on the
Brian,
fence
No,
on
in the
this one,
politics, remember,
will you ever make a
remember,
decision
I
for your
did not
people?
elect myself.
Brian,
Yeah.
I was given the authority to represent them under Article 1 by the same people.
Okay.
And when you listen, that's why I
Brian,
went to them and
leadership,
asked
Brian, let me just cut
No,
him short.
I'm not offensive.
Leadership requires that you make difficult decisions during difficult moments to be able to serve your people.
All right.
And you know, your people sometimes they cannot see.
I want to correct
They cannot
my
see
sister.
so far. Sometimes, sometimes
Not
they
all the
see.
time, yeah.
Sometimes they see further than you.
Yeah.
Sometimes they cannot see so far. You must guide them and tell them, nyinyi watu, hii kitu nimeona ikienda hivi.
Yeah.
That is leadership. Otherwise, we will be having, instead of 300 plus members of parliament, we would be having 52 million Kenyans in parliament.
Yeah.
But
Let
then
me-
we
let
have
me-
to vote for a leader who can be able, who you can entrust to guide.
I want to
Before
correct
you
my
clarify-
sister before I
before you
allow them.
clarify,
It's a
let me
fence-sitter.
confirm.
No.
Let me confirm that Honorable
Finance
Bassey-
Bill
Let-
2023,
let me
Finance Bill, I voted no.
It's a fence-sitter.
Okay.
2024, I voted because that was the voice of my people.
All right.
But in this case, when you see
Your people,
want to help you.
There's a little
When
bit of different opinions. Okay, okay.
when you tell your
I want to
people,
help you.
allow me to delink myself.
Yes, you are not a fence sitter.
All right.
That's
Yes.
what,
You
if
delete.
you are in a parliamentary setting, we would have asked Honorable Guled to withdraw and apologize.
Yes,
But because we are on a TV show,
yes.
I will confirm that our
He's
good
not a
friend
fence
Bassey
sitter.
is not
Okay.
a fence sitter.
All right.
And that can be demonstrated by the very fact that he chose to be a nationalist by appending his signature on the
Impeachment
impeachment motion.
All right. I want to
I
give each
support
one of
it.
you 30
Yes.
seconds.
He supported the
because,
impeachment motion.
I'm totally out of time. And final remarks in 30 seconds each in terms of which way the country is taking. 30 seconds. Do you believe the country is headed to the right direction? Are we at a
Sorry?
good place? Are we at a
Yes.
good place as a nation, and are we headed to the right direction?
Yes,
30 seconds.
I want to confirm that, save for the few hiccups which are normal and ordinary in every administration, the country is making steps towards the right direction.
All right.
And this can be evidenced by the fact that for the very first time in so many years, we have had our corporates like Kenya Power, like Kengen, posting huge profits.
All right. Okay.
Boosting investor confidence in our economy.
All right, Senator Gloria, 30 seconds. Which way, Kenya? Are we headed in the right direction? Are we at a good place politically, socially, economically?
I think I want to urge Kenyans and leaders, and I have started, as I preach that message, I'm also practicing, to ignore the noise, pick a struggle, and work at it.
Okay.
Right now, I'm ignoring the noise. There's a lot of noise. It's destructive. I have picked the struggle of ensuring that the thousands of jobs that have been taken in by the National Employment Authority, I'm taking them to my constituency.
Okay.
Yeah. I have decided between now and January, as I give out sanitary towels and pampers to, you know, women who are expecting to give birth like me, I am also just going to focus on ensuring that those people in the most remote areas are also able to access the jobs, the diaspora jobs that are available from government. Ignore the noise, focus, pick a struggle.
All right, Honorable Bassey, 30 seconds.
What I would tell my government, first, let's fix these things of SHIF and SHA.
Okay.
Because Kenyans want to access all the services as they used to do. So I would say that as per the voices of the people who gave me the authority to represent them, they want NHI reinstated.
Okay.
Number two, Kenyans want IBC reconstituted. Remember now, we are in a political crisis. If something happens, there is no one to conduct any elections. So IBC should be reconstituted like yesterday.
All right.
Number three, Kenyans want equity in service delivery. That element, like that, these stories of shareholding, etc.
I get your point. Yeah.
We need to have services equitably distributed. Remember, we all pay taxes.
All right.
There are no regions who pay less taxes, and others pay more taxes.
All right.
So all Kenyan people need equal services. If we talk of electricity, all Kenyans need to be connected to electricity.
All right,
if we talk of tarmac
so
road,
much,
all Kenyans want tarmac road.
All right, thank
and
you.
many more services.
I get your point.
You should have given us an opportunity to congratulate our sister.
Yes, yes.
She is a good role model, showing that even as we pursue, even as Kenyan women pursue political and professional lines, they still have a responsibility to the society to ensure that they bring forth life.
We are still mothers, we are still wives, and we are still women.
You want to tell me you're throwing a baby shower on my show this morning and you're not telling me? All right, thank you so much. Frederick Kigan, of course, Member of Parliament, Shinyalu, Honorable Gloria Roba, and of course, Robert Basil, thank you so much for making time this morning and having a conversation with us here on New Dawn. Always a pleasure and an honor. All right, that's where we wrap it up this morning. Thank you so much for being part of the program here on K24. Up next, I believe, is Morning Vibe with Remy Majala. I'll see you again when God says we do this again. Good.
When it's a Saturday